I'm making another video because the government wants me to. So I just went downstairs to my kitchen to heat up some food because I read in the Bible you're not supposed to be cooking on Sunday. It's the day of the Lord. So I went downstairs to warm up my food, and as usual, as I'm walking throughout my home, the United States government has nothing better to do with their time, so they have the neighbors harassing, stalking me, banging on the walls, flickering the lights, whatever they do. Instructed by the United States government and the former Freemason that used to live here that hooked up the entire home with surveillance cameras that now work for the Department of Defense. After he lived here, he worked for the Georgia Department of Prisons, and then he went and got a job working as in the Macon Sheriff's Department or something like that, but he worked in law enforcement in Macon, Georgia. So now he works in Fayetteville. I'm not sure if it's North Carolina or South Carolina, but he works for the Department of Defense, and his wife is a Army recruiter. That's why they got all the Army and military people stalking me, and they moved them in here. But he put cameras all over my home, so they know everywhere I'm going, what I'm doing when I shower, when I use the bathroom, when I take a bath, whatever I need to do in my home. They have been monitoring me since I purchased it in 2017. Before they started filing fraudulent police reports on me, having police officers swap my home, delete body camera footage, all that stuff. But the reason for this video is because I just remembered something. When I made the video yesterday, I was telling you, well, the reason why I'm making this video is because I went downstairs to warm up my food, and as usual, they have Leah Patrice Jones Menace, the Bahamas Prime Minister's son, Dr. Jamil Angelo Menace, fake wife, Leah Patrice Jones Menace. They have her next door. Every time I walk downstairs, they have her pop the refrigerator water line, very loud pop. And they've already broke the refrigerator. They broke the freezer. The freezer doesn't freeze at all anymore. It's a brand new refrigerator. It doesn't work. So they broke the freezer, and they have all kind of things going on with the refrigerator. Now, either the product was badly made, which I hardly doubt, or is as a result of them popping the refrigerator line every time I come downstairs. Now, when they pop the refrigerator line, it's popping the water line. So that's how they flooded the floors back in 2017. As soon as I purchased, they flooded the floors as soon as I moved in, coordinated with the HOA and the United States government. The reason why I'm making this video is because I was reminded of something. So I was telling you guys how Kobe was, he was basically murdered, and they had the firefighter take a picture of his body and his daughter's body and send it around all over Los Angeles to firefighters, his best friends, all that nonsense. Why would you want to send a picture of someone's dead body around? But that's the firefighter department, firefighters that they have working for the United States government. That's what they do. They get paid to target, terrorize people, burn down buildings. The building where the complex I lived into, they paid them to burn down the building to intimidate me. Well, this is important why you need to understand this, because they keep harassing me with the number 77 for various reasons. But Kobe's daughter that they murdered on a helicopter, they murdered her and Kobe. First, they lied about Kobe and said he raped somebody in Colorado. That didn't happen. They paid for the girl to lie. She worked at the Marriott. I believe it was the Marriott. The Marriott is Sephiroth Shaw's legal counsel, the same law firm that's been targeting me, manipulating all kind of facts and data, targeting me, but is the United States president is his attorney. Well, they were also attorney for the Marriott where the girl supposedly worked, that they lied and said Kobe raped her. Now, he may have had, whatever he did with her, but bottom line is he did not rape her. And so I lived in Colorado, so I know how Colorado gets down. I know Colorado, the clubs, all the clubs are run by individuals who are coordinating with the United States government to gang stalk individuals to get, whatever freebies they're getting from the United States government to do it. That's what they do. So I know he didn't do that to her. The reason for this video, like I said, is because Gigi basically is 77. And so they murdered her because her name added up to 77. Now, they definitely was after Kobe, but they were more after his daughter, Gigi. I'm not sure what age she was when they had her murdered, but it was sanctioned by the United States government. The United States government has a pattern and practice of sanctioning and murdering people who want to give back to the community, which Kobe was about to do. He had a lot of things in the network which he was about to promote and do for the government. Now, right now, all those things have been stalled. His family right now, I'm pretty sure they've been limited because of what the government has done. And so they only allowed them to make clothes that say Mamba on them, and that's it. But he was about to do something a lot bigger to support the youth in the United States. The same thing like Nipsey Hussle. They had, when I was in Los Angeles, they sent a person in the parking lot to send us to Nipsey Hussle's store. She took us over to Nipsey Hussle's store to purchase some items. And I know he was murdered by the United States government. I know this is a fact because I know how it went down when I was in Los Angeles to visit, and then he was murdered a year or two later. And that was basically sanctioned by the government. Now, Nipsey Hussle did victory lap. Now, Nike means victor or victory. So they murdered him because of that. And other reasons that I don't want to get into on this video, but I know they murdered Nipsey Hussle, just like they murdered Kobe and they murdered Gigi, his daughter. Now, they refuse to stop gang stalking me, surveilling me in my home, harassing and targeting me. They're reading theology books, occult books, have the United States Occult Division and the FBI and DOJ surveilling me. They're watching me right now making this video. They do this all day and all night long. They limit my internet because they get off targeting and harassing me on a daily basis. This has been going on for over a decade in various states. Now I'm in Georgia. Georgia has picked up doing their nonsense with the firefighters. I was targeted and terrorized in Denver, Colorado. They used to have tons of fake fire drills in the building that I lived in, coordinating with the Denver Fire Department. So I'm familiar with the United States government using firefighters to target and terrorize people. That's how I know the firefighters were involved when Kobe was murdered by the helicopter and his daughter, and then also when the bellboys were taken from their home to another state and murdered at a mountain. I forget the name of the mountain, but it's the name of it is also in an occult book. And they had the bellboys twins murdered, and the person that took a picture and shared pictures of their bodies was also a firefighter. And it's not by chance that in both situations firefighters just happened to be there. No, firefighters were the individuals that did it. That's why they were able to take pictures and circulate those pictures. So this is what's going on in the United States. The government can lie about it. They have their news. Every news channel, station, newspaper is by the same group. So they're going around buying up all the newspapers because they're suppressing information to the general audience. They want people to read their same BS that they put in the newspapers. That's why I don't read none of it's all nonsense. And also what you should know is that the newspapers in the middle of the United States, they don't have the same headlines and front pages as the newspapers in the other parts of the United States. I know this is a fact because I covered half of the United States, and I would see the newspapers having different headlines, different stories, and different coverage. So I'm not sure if in the Democratic states, they put a bunch of chaos in the newspaper, and then in the other states, they don't. But that's what's going on. And the Democrats, they're aware that this is happening. They're all for it because I told you the pig-branded tomb sleeper, Raphael Warnock, who's over at Ebenezer Baptist Church, he's been all in on it. Him and his little buddy that was elected by Nancy Pelosi to come over here in this area to become senator. I told you he was trying to get Karen Handel's position, didn't get elected for that, and so they pushed him to become a senator, and now he's trying to run for governor. So this is what's going on in the United States. They can, put up, I'm pretty sure they're going to take keywords of this video and then spam the newspaper world with that keyword. They like to do that. They like to watch my videos and then take a word that I said and then use that as coverage for news stories all over the U.S. that the newspapers and basically the news media is going around coordinating with the United States government to do. Now, they won't report on individuals getting targeted surveillance and gang stalked, assaulted with directive energy weapons, thermal cannons, and thermal weapons and sonic cannons. They won't talk about that. They suppress they delete all my social media. They won't talk about that. They have, you go onto a newspaper, if a person, a journalist, makes the wrong interpretation of what's happening on my case, I'll go onto their page and correct them. They'll delete the post. And it happens a couple of times in the Colorado Business Journal. They did that in the Colorado Business Journal. So this is what's going on in the United States. If you see this message, it's because they're letting you see it, because they suppress everything that I've been putting out. So if you see it, I'm shocked. If you don't see it, then you won't know that it's there. But bottom line, this is what's happening. United States government, several administrations, several administrations, and it's been going on for a while. Just like I said, when I lived in Acoma, I lived on Acoma Drive. I think it was 806 Acoma Drive in Denver, Colorado. They moved a political office next door, a Democratic office next door, where you can sign people up to vote. So I went over there, I signed up, and I would go door knocking, to go knock on people's doors to get them registered to vote. Well, the United States government had the building shot up. They had it shot up. They lied and said someone did it, but I know now it was the United States government. They had it shot up trying to intimidate me. So this is nonsense. Has been going on for a while. I've been dealing with this BS for a long time. And, you know, the fact that they had Gigi and Kobe murdered, it's just ridiculous. It's absolute ridiculous. And people know this is happening. They just refuse to say anything about it. However, I'm going to speak on it because I told them to leave me alone. You leave me alone, I'll stop making my videos. They apparently don't want to adhere to my demands, and so they continue to target, surveillance, and harass me, and that's why now you're seeing this video. Stay tuned, you may see another one.